p-n junction. So p-n junction, that is, so far we have seen that a p-type of material semiconductor can be made by doping it with a trivalent atom. So whenever there is a trivalent atom, there is a vacancy of electron in bond formation. So that will contribute a hole which will act as a positive charge carrier, and hence the name p-type. And similarly, in the case of n-type semiconductor, you were doping it with donors, which are a pentavalent atom. So they can donate one electron, and hence they will act as negative majority carriers, as negatively charged carriers, and hence the name n-type semiconductors. So if can we bring this p and n type of materials together? That is the next question. So such a kind of thing is called, or device is called, p-n junction. So that is possible if you dope one side of the intrinsic semiconductor with pentavalent atom and other side with trivalent atom, then you will get n-type on one side and p-type on the other side. So what is the consequence of having a p-n junction? So there are two possibilities or two consequences of forming such a junction. First one is that there will be a formation of depletion layer, and due to that there will be a junction potential or a barrier potential that will be developing across the junction. So we'll see what is meant by depletion layer. So for that, we can see that in a p-n junction, in a p-type material, there are more number of holes which are shown by white circles, and less number, very few number of electrons which are the minority carriers. And in the n-type, the opposite will happen. It is, there are more number of electrons and very less few number of holes. So what will happen? You know that electrons have an affinity for holes. So there is a higher concentration of holes in one side and higher concentration of electrons on other side. So there is a concentration gradient. We say it is concentration difference or concentration gradient across this material. So what will happen? The electrons will flow from n-type region to the p-type region, while holes will move from p-type region to the n-type region. So there is a flow of electrons from in this case from right to left, or holes from p to n. So what will happen when they meet up across the junction? Yeah, they are just, a hole is just a vacancy of electron, right, in a bond. So what will happen? They will recombine. So due to the recombination, these charges which are created will be annihilated. Okay, they won't be there. So what will be left behind? Their parent atom or the parent ion will be remaining. So that is explained here. Let us see, this is the n region and this is the p region. So in n region there are lots of electrons available as majority carriers, so they flow towards the junction, while in the p region there are lots of holes which is having positive charge and they will flow towards the junction. So what will happen? At the junction they will combine. Okay, so these are the dopant or the parent atom of which electron has been combined with the holes from the other side. So the holes from the parent atom will leave behind the negatively charged parent ions on one side, and electrons, when they are gone off, they will leave behind the positively charged parent atom. Okay, dopant parent ion ആയിട്ട് മാറി, പോസിറ്റീവ് അയോൺ ആയിട്ട് മാറി, acceptor atoms അതിലുള്ള ഹോൾസ് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ നെഗറ്റീവ് ചാർജായി മാറി. ഓക്കെ, സോ അക്രോസ് ദ ജംഗ്ഷൻ യു ഹാവ് എ ലൈനപ്പ് ഓഫ് immobile charge carriers ആണ് അല്ലേ. they are fixed to the lattice. They are fixed due to the sharing with the other silicon or the other neighboring atoms. So we have a immobile ions on both side of the junction. So these immobile charges will act as a barrier for further flow. Okay, so this difference in concentration of holes and electrons will cause a density gradient across the junction, and correspondingly there will be a charge diffusion of the majority charge carriers, and once they diffuse there will be a recombination of electrons and holes, and that will form a layer which is called depletion layer. So what is a depletion layer? Those are the regions where the majority charge carriers are recombined. So these are the regions which are devoid of any free or mobile charge carriers, and hence the name depletion layer. So depletion layer, instead it consists of immobile dopant and acceptor ions in the N region and the P region respectively. So here we can see the PN junction. It also constitutes a junction or barrier voltage. So what is happening? The depletion region actually consists of immobile dopant and acceptor ions. So we have a fixed row of positive charges on one side. They are fixed also, and you have a fixed row of negative charges on negative ions on other side. So there is a charge separation that is building up, and that will constitute the electric potential. And since that further restrict the further flow of charges across the junction, such a potential is called barrier potential. So the charge separation, that is even when the junction is not connected to the external source, there will be a voltage across the junction. So it will further stop the flow of charge carriers across the junction, and hence we are giving the name as barrier potential, or it is the junction voltage across the junction. Okay, so the barrier potential, it is written as V suffix B on it. Okay, so in the case of germanium, the barrier potential is 0.3 volts, while in the case of silicon, the barrier potential is 0.7 volt. Okay, so it can be represented in this way. For this is the potential of potential difference across the junction. So here you can see in the N region there is a constant potential. Okay, constant potential, but as it reaches the depletion layer, what happens? The number of electrons will decrease. So there is a decrease in charges, and it will come back to the negative ion stage. So here we can see it has decreased and it has come to the negative ion potential. So that is depicted here across the junction. So what is the consequences of this formation of depletion layer and junction barrier? The width of the depletion layer or the barrier potential will depend upon two factors primarily. First one is doping density. So if the doping is more, that is, if it is heavily doped, you will get a very thin layer of depletion. Why? Because then if doping is more number of dopants are available, so more number of charge carriers are easily available. Okay, so then you will get a very little layer of depletion layer. Okay, while it is lightly doped, then you will get a wider layer. In that case, you can consider a classroom where you have very few number of students, and let this be the partition between the two rows of benches. So you can see if it is very small number of student population or student strength is there in the class, they will be sitting far away from each other. Maybe in a group they will be clustered over here and here also. So what will be the depletion region? That is the region where there is no possibility of finding the free charge carriers. So that depletion layer will be more. That is mentioned here. If it is a very light doping, the depletion layer will be large. But if there are more number of students, then you can see all these areas are filled up very number of charge carriers are there. So there is a high possibility for finding charge carriers everywhere. So what happens to the depletion region? There will be a very small region which is devoid of charge carriers. Okay, so heavy doping will decrease the width of the layer. So that is mentioned here. If it is heavy doping, very small layer, and if it is a light doping, then there are few carriers, and hence they will have to travel more distance to meet up with the and hence there is a possibility of wider depletion layer. And the other possibility on which the barrier potential or the depletion layer depends is the temperature. So why it is depending on temperature? You know that for a given junction, doping density and the electronic charge are the constant. The only variable is temperature. As we increase the temperature, more number of minority carriers which are formed due to the temperature. Due to temperature, the valence band electrons will be broken from the covalent bonds, and those leads to the formation of minority charge carriers, isn't it? So there will be more number of minority charge carriers, so they will have very high drift velocity across the junction. So correspondingly, what will happen? The depletion layer will decrease or the barrier potential will lower. Okay, so depending upon the change in temperature, we can express in terms of degrees, and you will get it as delta Vp is equal to negative, because the barrier potential will decrease with increase in temperature. So that is why a negative sign is given. So it's like 2 millivolt. 0.002 means 2 millivolt into delta T. So you can find out what is the difference in temperature in degrees Celsius and multiply with 0.002. Then you will get what will be the change in, or what will be the decrease in barrier potential. So these are the two factors on which the width of the depletion layer or in fact the barrier potential will depend upon. Now let us see another concept. So what will happen? Such a PN junction is connected to an battery. So that is what you meant by biasing. So biasing is giving a external potential to the PN junction material. So what will happen? Let us say one kind of biasing is forward biasing. So in forward biasing, what will happen? The regions will be connected to their same polarity. So in that case, the p-type material has positive charges and the positive itself is connected to the positive of the battery. So then it is called forward biasing. And in the case of n-type, you have negative charge carriers and that side is connected to the negative of the battery. So such kind of connection is called forward biasing. So what will happen in a forward biasing? So here you can see that as we connect the positive to the p region has holes, and holes are positively charged and they will be repelled by the positive charge. So these holes will move towards the junction. Okay, similarly electrons in the n region are facing the negative side of the battery, so they will be repelled towards the junction. So what will happen? There is a flow of electron and holes across the junction. So there is a current flow due to the application of an external potential. So and hence it is called forward, in the sense a current flow is happening. Okay, so what is happening? In the absence of an external field, this was the depletion layer. Now due to the application of external field, the charges are coming towards the junction and hence the width of the depletion layer has decreased. Okay, there are more charges inside the depletion layer, so that means the width will decrease. So that will facilitate lowering of the potential. So this is now the new barrier potential. It has lowered from the no external field case. So lowering of the barrier potential will allow a low resistant path for the charge carriers, and the charge carriers can easily flow across the junction, which means a current will be obtained. Okay, so that is mentioned here. In the case of forward biased junction, holes are repelled by the positive battery terminal, while the electrons are repelled by the negative battery terminals. So the electrons and holes are driven towards the junction, and hence the thickness of the depletion layer reduces. So correspondingly the barrier potential will reduce, so which will enable a large current to flow through the semiconductor, which means the crystal will be now offering very low resistance in the forward direction. And uh, through the external condition, you'll have these electrons will move through the external wire. So through the external wire, you have to consider, you have to remember that only the electrons will be moving in the external circuit. Okay, now we can consider a forward VI characteristics, which is called, we are just mentioning what will happen when the voltage is given, what will be the amount of current that will be obtained through the device. So what is happening is that as the voltage is increased, no current flow is first initially seen. Why? Because there is a heavier barrier to be overcome. A barrier potential ഉണ്ട്. ആ barrier overcome ചെയ്താൽ മാത്രമേ a current flow will be there. So as we again increase the voltage, you can see a very slight increase in current. Very small current can be noticed, and at a particular value which corresponds to the knee voltage. And what is knee voltage? Knee voltage is equivalent to the barrier potential. So as the applied voltage overcomes the barrier potential, you will be able to get a very exponential increase in current. Okay, so the knee voltage for a germanium is 0.3 volts and for silicon is 0.7 volts. So if the applied voltage is less than the threshold voltage or the knee voltage, the current flow will be negligible. Whenever the applied voltage become greater than the thermal threshold potential, then the current will increase exponentially. But as you increase the voltage and large current may flow, it may destroy the junction. So for a germanium, it can withstand around 100 degrees Celsius up to 100 degrees Celsius temperature due to the large current flow, and silicon can withstand up to 175 degrees Celsius. This temperature corresponds to the temperature due to or heating up due to the large current flow. Okay, so that is why, so here you can see that which material is then suitable for devices. Is it germanium or silicon? Yes, from this inference you can see that since the silicon can stand up very high temperature, it will not heat up very faster, and hence silicon is preferred over germanium as a device. Now coming back to the second kind of biasing, we will be seeing reversed biased PN junction. So from the name itself, reverse biasing means opposite polarities are connected. That means P region is connected to the negative polarity and N region is connected to the positive polarity of the battery. So what will happen then? What will happen? What is the charge carriers in the P type? It is the majority is holes. So hole is facing which voltage now? It is facing a negative voltage. So will they attract or will they repel? What will holes do? Yeah, holes will be attracted towards the positive charge, which means they will be moving away from the junction. Similarly, here you can see electrons are there in the N region, which is facing the positive of the battery. So the electrons will be attracted towards the battery. So the electrons will also be moving away from the junction. So if the charge carriers are moving away from the junction, what will happen? The depletion region will still widen. Okay, so due to the application of reverse biasing, whatever be the depletion layer without an external field, it will increase due to the application in the reverse direction. So if this was the condition for, this was the barrier potential for no field case, then that will increase. So the barrier increases means there is less flow, or there is no flow of majority carriers at all across the junction. That means the device will give a high resistance path. So that is mentioned here. In the reverse biased case, holes are attracted by the negative battery terminal and the electrons are attracted by the positive battery terminal. So the electrons and holes are driven away from the junction, and correspondingly what will happen? The depletion layer will widen. Okay, as the electrons are moving away from the junction, there are more regions which is devoid of charge carriers. So correspondingly depletion layer will increase, barrier potential will increase, there is no electron hole recombination, that means no current flow, and the junction is offering high resistance. But still, you can find a very small current. What is that due to? Yeah, you have minority charge carriers are available in the material. So, though they are very few in number, they are actually feeling the case of a forward biasing, isn't it? So, here you can see the electrons are there in the p-type material. So, they are facing the, so I think this is a reverse thing. So, this must be negative and this must be positive for reverse biasing. Okay, so here you can see that the electrons will be repelled by the negative charge in the reverse biased case, and the minority charge carriers holes in the n-type region will be, so let me show it again. So in the reverse case it is negative here, positive here, it is the reverse biasing. So here you can see p-type material, the electrons are the minority carriers, so they will be repelled by the battery terminal and hence electron will move towards the junction. Similarly, holes are repelled by the positive charge carriers, so they will move towards the junction. So there is a very small current flow across the junction, and that current flow is called reverse current or reverse saturation current I0, which is the small current due to the flow of minority carriers across the junction. Okay, so the minority carriers are created due to the temperature. So whatever be the temperature, a thermal energy will be given to the material to break the electrons in the valence band, and hence they become free carriers as minority carriers. Okay, so the reverse current will depend huge on the temperature, and you can see that it doubles for every 10 degrees Celsius rise for germanium, while it is doubling at the rate of 6 degrees Celsius rise for silicon. Okay, so every 6 degree change in temperature you'll get doubling for silicon, and for every 10 degree rise you can see a doubling is C. Okay, and another feature that can be observed, so here you can see the silicon is having very small current because they have a band gap which is more than that of germanium. Okay, so the silicon, it is difficult to remove electrons in the case of silicon using temperature than in germanium. So that is why germanium is having more reverse saturation current than in the silicon. Okay, so this is another reason for choosing silicon. So we expect at the reverse condition, it is like a switch condition, which means we expect to get off state, there is no current flow. So we prefer to have very minimum reverse saturation current going on. Okay, so that is why silicon is preferred. So that is the second reason for preferring silicon. The first reason we have seen, the barrier, it can withstand a high temperature in forward biasing state, and the second reason is that it has very less reverse saturation current. And another feature you can notice is that at a particular voltage, there is a sudden increase in or very sharp increase in current at a particular voltage, and that is called junction breakdown. So the junction breakdown can occur in two ways. One is called Zener breakdown, another is called avalanche breakdown. So in Zener breakdown occurs in such PN junction which is heavily doped. So if it is heavily doped, what will be the nature of depletion layer? Heavily doped means more charge carriers. So the depletion layer will be less. Okay, narrow depletion layer. So correspondingly, the applied electric field will be very strong enough to break the bonds, existing bonds, and it can generate the electron hole pairs. So it is easier because it is very narrow depletion layer, very narrow barrier potential will be there. So it is easy to overcome the barrier potential in that case. So what will happen? Or we can say it is very easier to break the bonds in that case. So the applied voltage will be easily generating electron hole pairs. So if electron and hole pairs are created, you can see very large or very huge amount of current flow even in the reverse direction. And what is avalanche breakdown? It is just the opposite of Zener breakdown. It happens in lightly doped junctions. So in lightly doped junctions, you can see depletion layer a few number of electrons and holes are there. So the depletion layer will be wider. So wider it is very difficult to break the bond as such. So it is not strong enough to break to produce a Zener breakdown, but instead what it do is it will accelerate the minority carriers. So accelerate in the bottom, there is a more chance of colliding with the electrons. So then only after collision only they will break the bonds. So first initially the charges will be accelerated, then on the course it will be colliding with valence electron, and hence the bonds are broken. So whatever be the electrons that are produced as free, they will collide with further valence electrons, and further more collision and production will happen. So it will be like a multiplication process. That is why a name avalanche is given. So here you can see the electron, one free electron can collide with the another electron. So what will happen? Now you have two electrons being free, the parent one and the second one. So these two can free collide with two electrons, and correspondingly two electrons can be generated. So totally you will have 2 plus 2, 4 electrons would be generated. Then this will still be producing more electrons. So correspondingly you can see that a multiplication kind of generation of electron is happening. That is why a term avalanche is given. You would have observed or heard about avalanche like in snow mountains and all. Avalanche like in landslide, there in snow regions you have avalanche എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തുടക്കം just ഒരു slide ചെയ്യുന്ന snow slide ചെയ്യുന്ന start ചെയ്യും, but after that it will be falling off like a huge mountain. So that is why the name avalanche is given, because it starts off with a very few number of electrons, and then it will multiply with the generation of more number of electrons. Okay, so that is shown here, the Zener breakdown and avalanche breakdown, and you can see that the Zener breakdown happens at lesser voltage, while avalanche breakdown requires more voltage to get accelerated to accelerate the minority charge carriers, and hence to break up the bond. Okay, so this is what we have studied. So we have studied PN junction material, what are the properties. Due to the PN junction you have depletion layer and barrier potential, and you can also give charge potential externally. That is what you meant by biasing. And due to biasing, two kind of biasing is there. One is forward biasing. So the forward biasing is also called on state, because in the forward biasing state you will get large flow of current. You can see it is in the milliampere range current varan പോകുന്നത്, while in the case of reverse current it will be in the microampere range for germanium, and for silicon it would be nanoampere range. So here you can say ഒരു 10⁶ times smaller ആണ് സിലിക്കൻ്റെ റിവേഴ്സ് കറൻറ്റ് ആൻഡ് 10,000 times smaller ആണ് ജർമേനിയത്തിൻ്റെ റിവേഴ്സ് കറൻറ്റ്. Okay, so in the forward state it will act as a on state, which means a flow of current ഉണ്ടാകും. Reverse biasing കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ there is no flow of current, that means the device will be working as a off state. Okay, so due to this property the PN junction can be used as a switch. Switch means at certain conditions, certain situations they will be sending out current, while at certain other condition they will be in the off state. So we'll be discussing about PN junction as a switch in our next session. Thank you.